I'm Donna Davis. Thanks for joining us for the Birds. This is our half hour that we do once a month here on Facebook Live, and we invite you to ask questions of our birding expert, Richard Cole, the founder of Cole's Wild Bird Seed, or Cole's Wild Bird Products, excuse me. And Richard joins us today live via Zoom because we are just practicing our social distancing. Hello, good afternoon, Richard.
Oh, hi there. Well, this is different, isn't it?
It is different, but certainly all your expertise is the same, and we've got a big show planned today. Do you want to kind of go over some of the things we're going to talk about, Richard?
I don't even know if I can remember them all, but I know we want to talk about the Coles calendar and some deadlines there. We're going to talk about the fact that Mother's Day's coming. You want to think about gifts, and it's getting late, so got to get that and keep that in mind. And we're going to talk about some of the products that we have, and in one particular case, assembling one of them that some people have called and said, "Oh, there was had a little trouble putting it together." So we're going to go through that. And we're going to talk about what happens sometimes when you buy a new feeder, put some different seed out in your existing feeder, and sometimes the birds seem like they just don't like it. We'll go over that.
So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We've also got some gift ideas for Father's Day, and we want some audience participation when it comes to this Coles calendar. So many of you have sent in your birding photos, but we also want to know what you think. So we want you to comment below here on Facebook. Let us know, first of all, where you're watching from. Just put in the comments like the city that you're in. And then we also want your ideas on a couple of different versions of the calendar. Richard, do you want to talk a little bit about, there's the planning calendar that I think it's pocket size, and then there's the regular calendar like we've done all the time. Do you want to talk a little bit about the calendar and we can show those graphics?
And we do have pictures of those items.
I think we do, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have that up, and so take your choice from the wall calendar that's 13 by 21 or the planning calendar that's 11 by 17. Your thoughts,
And
Richard? Would you rather have a planning calendar or a nice big wall calendar?
I like the big wall calendar myself. I use a planning calendar. And so, I would think maybe one of each. Either one would work fine. But if I had to choose between one or the other, I would personally take the big one because the photographs and all are so striking. But that doesn't mean that that's right for everybody. So like I said, let's take a vote and see what everybody else really likes.
Yeah, and so if you're watching on Facebook, just put it in the comments, and you'll see me every once in a while look down because I'm looking at our Facebook page and looking for your comments and your questions today. So just put right in the comments below here which one that you would prefer, and we'll take that into consideration as we do the calendar. But you also want to remind people to go ahead and submit their photos, right, Richard?
Absolutely. Go through. If you send one in, you may end up being in the calendar. We say this, like somebody's going to be there. It could be you. It could be your picture. We put out a call last month, say make sure you send us some winter pictures, which we had a few of, and thank you for responding. We got a lot of winter pictures. If you got some other good ones, send them in too, because the more we have to choose from, the better our calendar is going to look. That's our calendar and your calendar. So, and boy, it'd be great if you could be in there. I'd like to have a picture in there myself, but that would be cheating, wouldn't it?
I think it might be. You might have some connections there. So
Maybe.
right now, we do have, we want you to go to coleswildbird.com if you want to enter your photos, and we want to show you this prize package. Look at all that amazing stuff that you could get if you win first prize in this photo contest. Now you're seeing the second prize package, over $225 value, third prize package, and then just to get your picture in the calendar is such an amazing honor and so much fun. And year after year, we have people submit again and again because they love to see their gorgeous photographs in here. So all you have to do is fill this out and send us your bird pictures, and we'll consider you for the calendar.
Well, this is being said. We will get more pictures. We may actually change formats depending on what everybody wants. That's going to be different.
Absolutely. So you ready to go on to more topics now that we've told everybody about the Coles calendar?
Let's do it.
So it's
Uh,
nesting. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
I have no idea what we're doing, so it's okay.
Okay, so let's
Uh,
talk about nesting and what kind of foods that people need to get to help these birds with their little babies now.
yeah, it's that time of year, and the adult birds and the baby birds are all looking for food. The little parents are going like crazy trying to find something to feed the little ones. And I have my personal favorite of things to put out this time of year, especially this time of year. And some of those include like suet products. And now that it's getting warmer, the no melt type suets, Cole's hot meats, and the peanut butter or peanut natural peanut suet are good choices. They don't melt when it gets really hot, and the birds absolutely love this stuff. I'm going through one or two cakes a day right now
Really?
because these birds are coming in, grabbing this stuff and taking off, and I'm sure they're feeding young with it. And they've done this for years, so I know to stock up with suet this time of year. That'll be going on through the breeding season. My bluebirds absolutely love it. I think the male bluebird, it seems like it's up here every 10 minutes at the suet feeder. The other things also, we have the suet kibbles. They eat a lot of those. I have a bountiful bowl, one of the Cole's bountiful bowls. I hang two of those out. One of them I just put a mixture in there, and the other one I put dried mealworms. That's another very favorite this time of year. And also when it gets very cold, you'll see them hitting the dried mealworms a lot. The other one, the suet kibbles, a nice suet product, high energy, easy to digest, easy for them to eat. They love that. And also I throw in a few peanuts because the titmouse always come in and get the peanuts. So you can put anything in these bowls, and that's nice. But those are some really good foods to use this time of year, especially for the young, because they'll take it right back and feed the young.
Yeah.
The
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I have no idea. You'll see me looking down at the notes also. So we're winging this, folks. Uh,
Yeah,
please,
and you can't see the monitor when you're there, but we were seeing all the different pictures and the mealworms and are just absolutely fantastic for bluebirds. I think so many people want to see bluebirds in their yard, and that's just a great thing to be able to get. So yeah, those are great suggestions. And we also want to talk about so when you do put out new feeders or you change your location or you put different food in those feeders, let's talk about that. What kind of reaction that the birds have to that new food being put out?
uh, sometimes the reaction is not what we want. I know you get a brand new feeder. Three things: a brand new feeder, which may look different, putting a different food in a feeder you have, or changing the location of an existing feeder or a new feeder. I think the worst thing is a new type of food, a brand new feeder looks a little different in a new location. But you're excited about it. You do this and you put it out there, and nothing happens. The birds seem to shy away from it, or they pay no attention to it. They look and go somewhere else. There's a couple of things involved here. Uh, Birds are indeed creatures of habit. They see something, they finally test it. Nothing ate them when they were there, and the food was okay. So they come back and they start depending on this food source. It's reliable. They know about it. They come back and it looks different. We're kind of the same way. You go to your favorite restaurant and you get a steak and it's yellow. It's a steak, but you're not going to eat that thing. You're going to back away until you're sure that everything's okay. The birds do the same thing. We get so many calls over the years about somebody making one of these changes. A feeder that looks very different is one of them, and food in their regular feeder that looks very different. And I'll show you some in just a minute. And then moving to position of where the feeder is. They get used to the food, the look, and the position. Any of those change, you may have a problem. And like I said, the calls we get are like, well, I put your seed in my feeder and the birds just don't like it. Well, you got to give them some time. They will get used to it, and they may like it a whole lot better once they get past the change. Let me grab a feeder here. And well, first of all, hey, we'll do a little plug. This is a Cole's feeder. And I love these things, not only because it says Cole's on the top. They're good looking, they're very durable, and the easy clean is just phenomenal. No problem cleaning this feeder at all. But here's a nice new feeder. We just bought it. We're going to put it out. And what they're used to seeing, maybe it's an old plastic feeder or some other feeder that's totally different shape. And now that's the new look. And then you have something. The other problem is, here's a nice tube feeder, Coles again, and this has Coles hot meats in it. It looks probably different than a lot of the foods they're used to seeing. And they're going to look at this and they don't see what they used to eat. They'll just be a little shy about it. They may come and look and then go away and come back, but you're going to see a slowdown, a big slowdown because of that. And here's another example of really great food, pure sunflower meat. This is like the chocolate bars for birds. They just love this stuff. All birds, even birds that don't typically eat seed, can eat this because there's no shell. But look, it just looks different than what they're used to seeing. And I'll guarantee you that if they start eating, once they start eating this, you won't be able to stop them. The other thing you have to keep in mind is position. They know where the feeder and their plate source of food is, and if it moves probably more than 3 to 6 feet away, they're going to be a little hesitant to go to the new location. And you see this especially with hummingbirds, by the way. That's a great example of these guys keying in on a location. You'll see we receive returning hummingbirds come in the springtime, and they know where the feeder was last year. And literally, if it's 2 feet away, they'll come to where it used to be and hover and look, and then go somewhere and perch for a minute before they finally come back and try the new feeder, that same feeder 2 feet away. So these guys are positional. The whole point of this is give it time. If you're buying one of the Coles feeds, I keep looking over here at them, be assured it's good stuff, or we wouldn't have it out there. The birds are going to love it, or we wouldn't sell it. So you just have to be patient and realize that if you change the position of your feeder, if you have a brand new feeder that looks a little bit different, or change the type of seed in it, you're going to have a slowdown for a while. It's just going to happen until they get used to it. Then it'll really pick up and everything will be back to normal. Other things to keep in mind when you have some problem with changing something and you see less birds, it may not be what you did. It may be one of the 2 seasons that we see slowdowns in feeding. We're in one of them right now. Just as the birds start separating, pushing the other birds out of their territory for the mating season and breeding season, you see a slowdown at your feeder because 2 or 3 titmice families say will keep all the others away. We may have had 10 different groups coming in, or 20 different birds coming in, or even 10 different birds. And all of a sudden, you've got a dominant male or 2 right in your immediate area, keeping the rest of them at bay. You're only going to see 2 birds, a lot less feeding going on. This happens with the cardinals, this happens with the jays, it happens with all those birds. So be aware that this time of year, you're going to see less birds at your feeder because the territory is being protected by birds. Then it breaks loose and everybody's eating, the families are out there, and everything's good until you get well down in the fall. And then we have what I call fall slowdown. And what happens? Everything's going on good. There's a lot of birds, but all of a sudden food is abundant out there. All the stuff getting ready for the fall harvest, all the berries, all the seeds are ripe and ready to eat. So they have plenty of natural food. They're going to take those first. They come to your feeder, so you'll see a slowdown then. As you get further into the winter, it will get better. So those are the things to look out for that may be causing less birds at your feeder.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Was great explanation. Let's talk a little bit about the Bountiful Bowl. And, this is the time for a new feeder. We have more people out watching birds now, I think, because so many of us are stressed out. We're at home and we want to be able to watch the birds. It's such a great, calming, wonderful escape from all we're going through. Let's talk about the Bountiful Bird and what a great gift idea this is for both Mother's Day and you got Father's Day coming up. So this is and you're going to show us how to assemble it too, right?
I think so. If this works well, let's see.
There it
This
is.
is the package that comes in right here.
Yep.
And nicely packaged, good looking. And it's like, okay, all the parts are there. What do you do now? And here we go. You told me to show this because there's a couple little things. They're not terribly difficult, but you may not see this on some other feeders, so it's a good thing to show it. One of the things I want to show is when you first put the rod, the shaft, down into the bowl, I do it without putting the lid and everything on there, just to make sure you get it started right. And just make sure this is straight and start giving it a turn. If it goes in about a turn and a half, nice and clean, and then bind, it's okay. Just give it some force and it'll go in there. If you start it and it just barely gets started and it seems like it's getting tight, look and make sure it's not being threaded in there slightly crooked. Just make sure it's good and straight. Give it a little turn. Once you're in there a little bit, if it's tight, if it just crank it down, you're fine. You could use some oil. So we're going to do this with the lid. This, by the way, is threaded to make sure these things don't move around and fall off.
Ooh, that's a sharp noise.
Oh, that's like a bird call, isn't it?
It does.
And then this little thing right here is the locking nut, which allows you to hold this at any height you want it above the bowl. I like it up high most of the time if I'm having problems with a certain location where a squirrel might be able to jump and grab the bottom of the bowl, or some really large birds are coming in and let the grackles show up. I just drop the top down. I'll show you that in just a second. So now we have the rod and the adjustable height, and we're going to put the bowl back on, and we've already made sure it works and it screws on there nicely. There, it's on there snug. So, and there we go. And the top, if you're having a problem with larger birds coming in, you can drop it down really low like that. And the big birds have a real hard time getting up in there. You can bring it down lower. Chickadees and titmice won't have a problem getting up in there, and the big birds will. Otherwise, you just open it up here. All the birds come in. Rain doesn't get in there so much. So that's a really nice. And I love this bowl because you can just put anything in it. You can put regular bird seed. You could put little scraps of things, little bread scraps. You can put, like I said, one of my favorites is suet kibbles, dried mealworms. And I even throw some sun beets in there occasionally, and a few peanuts for the squirrels. So, for the titmice. So there you go, bountiful bowl.
So it
Have a
is.
couple of these.
It is a beautiful feeder, easy to clean, easy to put together. Great gift, along with maybe a little bit of seed to be able to put in it so that they can right away start enjoying the birds. Great pictures, both for Mother's Day, Father's Day. What a fantastic gift this is. Anybody would be thrilled to get it, and such a great time to get it while we're all like wanting to just get outside and enjoy watching the birds so much this time of year.
Yeah, and like I said, it's Mother's Day or Father's Day. These items, I don't know of a dad or a mom that would turn away one of these. I mean, it's not like, oh, it's a hammer, so mom won't want it. This is a bird feeder and a good one, and it's enjoyable for both sides. So it's a great Mother's Day and Father's Day present.
Now, I think we have a picture of our Coles Hummer High Rise, and that is another great gift idea for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Everybody loves the Hummers. And tell us, we're looking at a picture of it, Richard. Tell us a little bit what makes this Coles Hummer High Rise such a great feeder for the Hummers.
There's a couple of things, and I have been doing hummingbirds for a long time, and I've had a lot of different feeders out there, and we developed, started bringing in the Hummer High Rise. I started using it and realized really how much it really helps for certain things. First of all, if you look at the design, it's a bowl type feeder as opposed to a tube on top. The problem with tubes on top is a suspended column of fluid with air at the top. As you change temperatures outside, In the mornings, the sun comes up, that air at the top swells because it heats, pushes fluid out the bottom, it's going to drip. No matter what you do, it's going to drip. So a bowl type doesn't have that problem because the fluid can slightly expand and there's no hot air to push it anywhere. It's just in a bowl. You have a lid over the bowl. And on this particular feeder, if you look, the little rim that they perch on is not out to the side or down, it's up. It's Hummer high rise. When the birds are sitting on that perch, they're up above the rim of the feeder. So the birds on the back side of your feeder are up in your vision line. They're not hidden by the side of the feeder. And the birds have no trouble sitting up there and bending over and going right down into the thing. In fact, I think it's a little easier for them to reach into the holes on that because the perch is up higher. And we've observed them and they love it. They love these feeders. And cleanup is pretty darn nice with these things too.
That's my
I've
favorite
got
thing.
pretty much
It's
all
so
I'm using
easy.
now. Yeah.
What'd you say?
It says that's about the only kind of feeder I'm using now. I'm looking out here on the porch. Like, there's some feeders. They're Hummer high rises, and I can just walk in with two of them, sit them in the sink, just dump them out, rinse them out, add some pre-made fluid in there. We're going to talk about the hummingbird nectar in a minute too, and just put the cap back on, take it right back out, and hang it up. So easy to clean. There's no problems with it.
I run it through the dishwasher. That's how lazy I am.
And
but it
absolutely
works. It's so easy, and they're perfectly clean after that, and that's what they get. Change out the nectar about once a week or so. Tell us about the Coles nectar that you may want to get along with your Hummer high rise if you're giving that to mom or dad as a Mother or Father's Day gift.
Yeah, this is becoming available out there now. We're getting it out into the marketplace. We took quite a few years to develop it. We're really proud of it because it's a different way to look at hummingbird nectar. You know, you mix it at home or you buy the stuff in the store, which has generally been who knows what, with some red dye in it and things to maybe keep it from spoiling, which you might not want to feed. So we said, how can we do something that's better? And first of all, there's not just one type of sugar in there. There's three types of sugars in this mixture. And there's three types of sugars because basically there's three types of sugars available out there in nature, and fructose and dextrose and sucrose. And they're available in plants in varying degrees of density in there, but in those three sugars are in there. So we came up with an approximation of the average of which type of sugars they would get in the plants out in nature. Use that. We also have made it without any chemicals in there. So basically, if you look at the ingredients on the package, like our bird seed, you're not going to see a list of things you can't even read. It's going to be the sugars, and it's going to be fluid. That's it. And it's going to be, we don't need the chemicals in there to stop fermentation and things like that because the package is sealed nicely. There's no problem until you can open it and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's we've been working on this a couple of years. The birds love the stuff, and with any luck, it's available at a store near you now.
Yeah.
So I recommend you give it a shot. Give it a try. The birds will appreciate it.
Yeah, and then we also do want to show some gift ideas that were put together by Coles for Mother's Day or Father's Day. They include different seed packages and things like that. So you may want to check your local retailer and see if there's a sale this weekend or anything for Mother's Day, and you can pick up all kinds of Coles Wild Bird products that you can give as gift ideas. And I think we have those that we can show. There we go. So here you go. You can give the perfect, terrific tube feeder with Blazing Hot Blend. Now, Richard, tell us a little bit about this Blazing Hot Blend.
Oh, Blazing Hot Blend we've talked about the hot meats a lot, which is pure sunflower meats infused with habanero chili pepper oil, the concentrate, so it's extremely hot. Birds absolutely love this stuff. Most other animal type things will not eat it.
Animal type things.
Blazing Hot is more like a regular birdseed mix with the same principle that this has been treated with the chili pepper oil. and they concentrate. In fact, you can, if you want to treat your own seed, I'll throw in a plug for uh, Flaming Squirrel. If it's a little package of a little bottle of the concentrate that we use to treat the stuff, you can buy it in packages. It's called Flaming Squirrel Seed Sauce. A cute little package with a squirrel looking like it's breathing fire. Now, this seed blend, if you like traditional mixes with a little bit of everything in it, that's for you. It's just like the hot meats, but it's a traditional mix.
Yeah, and this is a great, I just want to say really quickly again about this terrific tube feeder. It's great because it's so easy. The bottom just snaps right off and you can clean it easier than any other feeder, and it's just easy to use and great. I have these. I love them. Do we have any more graphics of gift ideas? There we go. Bountiful Bowl feeder with this nutberry suet blend. So it's a beautiful combination. You could just put that right out for the birds. And Richard, tell us a little bit about what you get with this nutberry suet blend.
Oh boy, and nutberry suet blend is just I don't know. It's a very rich mix with some larger pieces of nice things in it. So it's I put it out. I put it out as a treat, and there again, I'll put it out in one of my bowls because it's the birds can get to it very easy. They pick up the stuff and leave. You can put it in a feeder, and it'll flow through a feeder okay. But it's a nice mixture with a lot of fruit, nuts, and things like that. And it's really, if you need to take a look at it and see what's in there, you'll see some really nice items in there. It's not just some little pellet of dried bird seed, but it's very nutritional. It's very good, and birds love the stuff.
Yeah. So that makes a great gift idea. Any others, Alex? Oh, we have, yes, what we were just talking about. The nectar, Cole's Nectar, and the Cole's Hummer High Rise. So you get these two together, and you get the Hummers. And I have seen them. We've got some Hummers out at our place, and I love it.
It's a good feeling to know also that when you're putting out the new Cole's Nectar, it's the right stuff. You know,
it's the healthy
not
stuff.
It's much better for the birds. So
yeah,
like that, you'll feel good about putting it out there, and the birds will appreciate it because they'll really like it.
right. So thank you so much for joining us. Just a few reminders that I'm going to give everybody before we leave today. That is, we want your input on the Cole's calendar. You just go to coleswildbird.com, scroll down the page a little bit. You'll see the calendar. It'll say 2021 Cole's calendar. You click on that. You can see your choices of whether or not you want a pocket calendar this year. Please put that in our Facebook comments. If you'd rather have a planning calendar, it's a little bit smaller, or a full wall calendar, we are taking your votes on this. So take a look at this. Let us know what you think, what you'd rather have, and put that in the comments on Facebook. And then we also want you to go ahead and enter your pictures and that kind of thing in our Cole's Wild Bird calendar. You'll see all the prizes right there on that page. It tells you about the prizes, all the things that you can win, and of course, to have your photograph in that Cole's calendar. That is really the reason that most of people do this, and we thank everybody who's participated in that over the years. We've had some amazing and beautiful photographs. Thank you so much, Richard. I think everybody has great gift ideas for Mother's Day and Father's Day. It doesn't matter that you waited. There's still plenty of time to go and get a gift, and Mother's Day is, of course, this Sunday. So just, get your gifts. You can find retailers on the coleswildbird.com. You can find that right on coleswildbird.com. You put in and look for a retailer near you, and you might even be able to find a sale on these kind of things this weekend too.
And if you know what's good for you, you will not forget your mother this Sunday.
That's right. So I hope you'll be getting Nancy a gift as well this Sunday. So thanks, and happy Mother's Day to all our mothers who are watching out there. And we'll see you next time, first Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock right here, Richard Cole, the birding expert.